This is Pakistan obviously getting rattled after India's nuke warning. You have a Pak minister who tweets on what you've just heard from the Raksha Mantri. In fact, he says that India changed the no first use policy in 2003. Shireen Mazari goes on to tweet, and I quote him here, that India claims to the NFU ended when on the 4th of January 2003, Indian government declared it would use nuclear weapons against any brackets, even chemical or biological attack against India or Indian forces anywhere. So that is the first reaction that is coming in from Islamabad, and clearly we should not be surprised. We'll try to get you more reactions on that story, but you've heard that very, very strong reaction first up from the Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, followed by this very meek response, Abhishek, that is coming in from Pakistan. But Dr. Swami says, Abhishek, that these are new times, it's a new challenge, it's the old enemy. And he says it's time for us, Abhishek, to revisit the new lines. Let's draw new red lines, he says.
Because on the January 4, 2003 Cabinet Committee on Security meeting, the government had actually decided, or the Vajpayee government had actually decided the no first use policy. But there would obviously be gradations and escalation metrics put in place. So, for example, if there is a threat of chemical and biological weapons, India would use its whatever it's available in terms of deterrence and in terms of response. So, for example, during the election campaign, we had Prime Minister in Rajasthan saying that our nuclear bombs, if Pakistan has nuclear bombs, because there was a threat that came from Imran Khan after the National Security Council meeting that he took place, that he took in the aftermath of Balakot air strikes, Prime Minister Modi responded by saying our nuclear bombs are not for Diwali. So it's a clear case of India's security doctrine or the larger security architecture evolving, and within that, the nuclear security doctrine also evolving, keeping in pace or keeping in mind the fact that Pakistan over the last decade or so has developed tactical nukes, which is like sub-kiloton devices aimed at hitting certain targets in the vicinity of border, and India reserves its right for a preemptive strike, and perhaps Rajnath Singh was very subtly indicating towards that.
Oh yes, Abhishek, important point for the moment. Thank you so much for adding us perspective to that story. And in fact, for our viewers, a no first use policy is actually a pledge by a nuclear power not to use nuclear weapons as a means of warfare unless first attacked by an adversary using nuclear weapons. And the government's stand till now, remember, has been that nuclear weapons are only for deterrence and India will pursue a policy of retaliation only. Lieutenant General B.S. Jaswal Saab with us on the broadcast for his very first reaction to this. Lieutenant General Saab, how do you read into this? Do you believe that these are changing times and it's only important for us as a country to reiterate that till now we have this policy, but what will happen tomorrow will surely depend on what you see the aggressor doing against us?
Yes. As a matter of fact, this NFU policy that we had earlier was a very, very mature policy as a responsible nation that we shall not. But the caveat in that was that there would be a very heavy response from our side, whether it's a tactical nuclear weapon fired by the Pakistanis in their territory, etc. Times are changing, and as the tables change, situation changes. And this is not a change in policy, but this is a message to Pakistan, who is trying to talk all kinds of things and warmongering, etc. We've just told Pakistan, well, we might change our policy. The reason is that even in the UN, for that matter, before a threat can manifest in terms of effect on you, you as a nation have the right to decimate that threat. So if in case he postures his, missiles over there, and if he feels threatened, well, what Rajnath Singh ji has said very clearly, that, we might change a policy depending on the situation. There's nothing wrong in it. It's a very good thing. It's just a message. It's a strong message. Policy continues to be NFU.
All right. Appreciate, sir, your time and perspective to that story. India now putting Pakistan on notice.